Hey guys, welcome to the Raymond Report, the CFL football show for week number 7. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner. All right, CFL football is in the books for week number 6. And man, the underdogs are really having a good start to the season. I'll get to those numbers in just 1 second. Let's take a little recap of week number 6 and see how our CFL football teams did in the previous week. And you can see the Ottawa Redblacks took care of business against the Edmonton Elks on Sunday night. It was a 37-34 victory. And man, who would have thought a kicker would have got Chris Jones fired? But yeah, special teams is crucial to the Canadian Football League when you think of it, right? You're only playing 3 downs, and if you're not productive on the first 2 downs, special teams come into play the 3rd down. And if you're 1 and 2 and you're out, that's if you do that very often, special teams take accountability to about 25 to 30% of the reps during a CFL football game. And unfortunately for Chris Jones, that loss last week to the Ottawa Redblacks cost him his job. And a big win for the Ottawa Redblacks, though, 37-34. Saskatchewan, they took on the BC Lions. BC is flexing right now. 35-20 was the final. And the Calgary Stampeders, probably the game of the week. This was a really good football game between Winnipeg and Calgary. Winnipeg finally got their first win of the season, or actually their second win, because they beat Ottawa the week before. 41-37 was the final, and Montreal finally lost the game to the Toronto Argonauts, who went into Montreal and spanked them. 37-18 was the final, and those are your results for week number 6. Now, looking at the top performers in the power ratings, you still got the Montrealettes number 1. I got a power rating of 63. Even though with a loss to Toronto, they're still a good team at 5-1. The BC Lions 5-1, a power rating of 59. I got Saskatchewan at 54 on the power rating. They're 4-1 in the season. And for the teams on the rise, I got Ottawa and Toronto. I think Toronto's going to be a handful to work with, to be reckoned with, because that defense, as much as the offense, and you got to give a lot of credit to Cameron Dukes stepping in and doing a nice job. That defensive front 4 for the Toronto Argonauts, they bring a lot of pressure. And 3-2 on the season. Ottawa's also 3-2. And the teams that are in trouble: Edmonton, Hamilton, and Winnipeg. And we'll see if Winnipeg could, improve on their 2-4 record. I give them a power rating of 47. I got 34 for Hamilton, and I got 37 for Edmonton. So we'll see how these teams do in week number 7. All right, let's take a look at the top teams straight up. You got Montreal 5-1 along with BC. Saskatchewan's only record at 4-1, the only team in the CFL that is 4-1. Ottawa's 3-2 along with Toronto, and Calgary a losing record at 2-3. 2-4 for Winnipeg, Hamilton 0-5, and Edmonton 0-5. And I wonder which team is going to get their first victory, Hamilton or Edmonton. It all depends on the schedule. Looking at last week, you can see the overs. The overs been doing very well. In fact, if you look at the last 2 weeks, the overs are now, I believe, 7-1. They went 4-0 last week, 3-1 the week before. And they're doing a very good job with the over-unders. And on the season, if you're betting underdogs in the CFL, you're doing pretty well. In fact, the underdogs are 17-7 for 70.8%. So when you're handicapping CFL football games, the number one thing I think you got to consider is the quarterback. The CFL is a quarterback-driven league, and the more experience you have at the pivot position, the better chance you have of covering the point spread, right? So take a look when you're handicapping your games. What quarterback is at the helm for the team that you're handicapping that week? Because it plays a big factor into the point spread results. Now, looking at the straight up factor, we're at 50%, 12-12. But again, 17-7 for the underdogs, and for the over-unders, 14-10 to the over so far this season. Now, which role is doing the best when it comes to the point spread? You can see home underdogs are 7-2 on the season, hitting 77%, and road underdogs are 10-5 at 66%. So those are some of the things you want to keep in mind when you're handicapping this week. All right, let's get to your week 7 results and your predictions, as we gave you the week 6 results. And now Ottawa, they didn't. Hey, Edmonton and Ottawa don't have to wait a long time to get right back at it, the rematch. And we saw Sunday night Ottawa winning 37-34 on the last play of the game. And that's the second time this year Lewis Ward has been called upon on the last play of the game to kick a game-winning field goal. And Lewis has been money with that. All right, so -2.5 is the line, 52.5 is the total. And our computer pick does like Ottawa to win this game in another close one. 27-25, the over-under at 52.8. Edmonton coming in on a 5-game losing streak. They are 0-5 on the season. The Kogo in this game is at 50%. Kogo stands for chance of game going over the total. And the percentage play does favor the Ottawa Redblacks at 62.5% compared to 52.1% for the Edmonton Elks. Another Friday night game, a doubleheader this Friday night on TSN. You got Saskatchewan hosting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But look at that. Winnipeg, a 2.5-point road favorite. 49.5 is the total. And we're going to go with the Bombers here. 26.8 to 22.08. The over-runner landing on 48.95. So the computer pick does have this one going under the total. We're going to give Winnipeg a 65% chance of winning compared to 31.8 for the Green Riders. And the Green Riders 4-1 on the year, while Winnipeg 2-4. And the Kogo in this game is at 38%. I did have Winnipeg listed at 6.13 on my value index. And you can see you're getting a nice little discount at -2.5. And if you like Winnipeg, just take it straight up on the money line. Don't sweat that 2.5 point. All right, good game here in Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field. You got Toronto off that big win over Montreal, 37-18, where Hamilton, they were off a bye week. Their last game was a loss at home to the BC Lions on the Sunday Night Football, 44-27. That was a woodshed game. They got taken out behind the woodshed against BC. Now they're a 4-point home underdog. The over-under in that game is at 53. The computer forecast sees a Argonaut victory by 5, 28-23, the over-under landing on 51.4. Now keep in mind Hamilton's on a bye week, so we'll see if they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They're on a 5-game losing streak, while Toronto coming off that big win over Montreal, 37-18. Kogo in this game is very low at 27%. And you can see right there that Hamilton's coming off a 12-day rest period. And your final game, the Sunday night game of the week, you got Calgary hosting the BC Lions. BC off that win against Saskatchewan, 35-20. While Calgary, their 8 days rest. Their last game was in Winnipeg last Thursday. I believe it was Thursday or Friday. And it was a 41-37 victory. I think it was Friday. 41-37 victory for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So another tough loss for the Calgary Stampeder. Very competitive this year. I like the way they fight in each game. Jake Mayer is looking good. And I do have the BC Lions winning this game, 30-26, the over-under at 57.6. BC coming in a 4.5-point favorite. 52.5 is the total. I got the total landing on 57.6, so it could go over the total. And BC coming in on a 5-game win streak, while Calgary now has lost his last 2 games after winning a couple of straight ones. After winning, I think it was the first 2 of the year. And actually, the first 3, no, they only got two wins. So yeah, they lost their last 2. They're 2-3 on the year, 4-1 the last 5 against the point spread. And Calgary, one of the best teams in the CFL, and that's what you want. Remember, as I talked about, when you're handicapping the CFL football, you got to look at quarterbacks. And the Calgary Stampeders, along with Saskatchewan, are the top 2 teams on the point spread, 4-1 respectively. So keep an eye out on that. All right. Let's take a look at the 80% Club stats, courtesy of the Raymond Report. And these are the stats we host here at the website. And let's take a look at the Toronto Argonauts. Anytime they're a home or away team, and the spreads between 4 and 7.5, either favorite or underdog. 9-1 straight up, 9-1 to the over. Winnipeg, home or away against a division opponent. They are 29-6 last 35 games. Yeah, Winnipeg's been very good against division foes. Yeah, they've been really good the last 5 years. Who am I kidding? Calgary, as a home team, coming off 3 ATS wins since 1996, are 15-1 straight up, 13-3 against the number. And if you like Saskatchewan on a Friday night, anytime they're a home underdog playing on a Friday night, 11-2-1 to the over, and you might want to consider that. And anytime Calgary's a home underdog, the last 5 years, look at that, they've only been a home underdog 12 times. They are 8-4 straight up, 10-2 as a dog. You know what? I do like Calgary probably as my upset special this week against the BC Lions. All right, there you have it. That is the CFL show for week number 7. And folks, if you want my CFL top plays each and every week, you can get them right here at atsstats.com. Go to picks, and once you go to picks, you will see my picks. Go to Ron Raymond's today's picks. My picks will be listed right there, and you can get my top CFL plays each and every week right here at atsstats.com. And have a good week of football, and we'll see you back next week with CFL Report week number 8. Cheers.